Hello, hello, hello. Test, test, test. Hello, hello, hello. Test, test, test. Hello, hello. Test, 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 test. How does this sound? How does this sound? Hello there, guys, and welcome back to, once again, another live stream here on the Delta T Racing YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be racing Season 11, Round 8 of the Monaco Grand Prix here in Division 1. It's going to be busy on track already in this short qualifying. Afterwards, we will be having a 50% race in order to crown our Monaco Grand Prix winner here in Delta T Racing. As I said before, a lot of guys out on track already, and that is with a reason. Monaco, one of the most difficult tracks to get around on, and also not an easy overtaking track. It's crucial that your qualifying position is as far up the grid as possible. Now, I am expecting many guys to be at the front row, although there's only two spots on that front row. So let's see who's going to take that here tonight in the Monaco Grand Prix, as well as the Monaco qualifying. The guy we are on board with at the moment is Joe Hayward. The Mercedes driver is hopefully going to get himself into the top 5. It's not that many drivers on the grid tonight, so the chances of getting into the top 10 is quite high. You need to, I mean, it's obviously more than 60%. So let's see if anyone else can get that done. I think it's even more than 60%, might be even 70 or 80%. But Joe Hayward might be one of those guys who's gonna, you know, magically appear a good position in this qualifying session. Now he's coming through that tunnel section, which is also a very tricky part of this track. There used to be a DRS zone within that tunnel section, although they removed that in the new layout. Not necessarily new layout, but the new track from 2023 and 2024. Now, the first driver to come across the line is Maggot with a 109.7, as we might want to go on board with Joe here. Coming around the last corner, turn 18 and 19, that is, and then we've got turn 20 of long right-hander to finish off his qualifying lap, putting himself in P2, a 110.07, a 110.08, putting himself in P2, right behind Maggot. Relly, who just came across the line as well with a 110.4. Might want to go on board with Magic Boop, getting currently in P13. Coming around the last corner as well. He's usually not a qualifying specialist, but let's see what he can do. A P4 for the Aston Martin, a good position already in this qualifying session, but let's see what Gunnar can do. Gunnar is one of the faster guys here on track, of 110.3, putting himself in P3 so far. Brandon is also up there with the top guys. What will the Mercedes driver be doing? Will it be a pole time? It might be a pole time. It will be a P2. Came about 800s short on Maggot's time. Let's go on board with Skipper. He seems to be going really slow, letting through a couple of guys, including Hammersuk. The guy behind him is an Aston Martin. And that is definitely not going to be Miyagi, as he is still in the pit lane. Magic Boo Cannon coming around the track, probably to come back into the pits. He is not on a fast one right now. There is a Mercedes parked in the wall. Is that Joe? It seems to be Joe. And he's lost his front wing. He will have to get that replaced as soon as possible. He's driving in the way of the... Ooh, he's not coming in the pits? That is very interesting. He's not coming into the pits. He's got a broken front wing. And I'm not necessarily sure what the thoughts were behind that decision. But, I mean, we let everyone do what they want to do, don't we? Barry up on his time, not a qualifying specialist, but usually does get a couple of places up the grid during the race. Starting from last place, it's not too hard together with Skipper. They do tend to gain a couple of positions throughout the race. Miyagi still in the pit lane. Does that mean he's either used his Joker, my apologies, or did that mean he is he's got a qualifying ban? Now, it is very interesting for the guys to use their Joker here in Monaco. You know there's going to be a lot of DNFs. You know there's not going to be many people attending, and that could give you an advantage using your Joker. Let's say Miyagi is the only driver who's put his Joker in this Monaco Grand Prix. He's going to start from P13. He doesn't start all the way from P20 in many of the other Grand Prix, so that's already 7 positions gained compared to other Grand Prix. Now, Miyagi has also been really fast in the last couple of weeks. He's gained a couple of positions throughout the races, and I'm seeing him doing the exact same thing here. Monaco is also a very high debris track, so we're going to see a lot of debris, a lot of broken front wings, rear wings maybe, and a lot of crashes as well, so possibly a couple of safety cars here around Monaco. Although in the 2023 game, there wasn't really too many safety cars on Monaco, even if people DNF'd in the wall. So let's see if that changes here in F1 24. I haven't seen many safety cars yet on the Monaco Grand Prix in the last couple of races I've done on F1 24. So let's see if that's going to be the case here as well tonight, as Kenji is currently on a fast one as he's entering. Oh, he's going straight. Oh my days, I thought he was going into the wall. Oh, Kenji, bro, almost gave me a heart attack there. Paper Plane, a new driver. We haven't seen Paper Plane before, and he's going to be joining us tonight. I'm really wondering what car he's going to join in. We could be seeing him racing a Ferrari, maybe a Red Bull. I am not 100% sure, but Kenji is coming back into the pit, so is Reliot. So we've got a couple of guys on an outlap, including Hammersuk just entering Sector 3 as we speak. Flipped the wall there on the exit. And he's going to start his qualifying lap right now. Down the straight we go. The only DRS opportunity for the guys to use into turn 1, hard braking zone. Touch the curb as much as you can on the inside. And we're going into turn 2, turn 3. Then we've got that turn 4, long left-hander. This is actually turn 3. Then we've got turn 4, fast right-hander. Watch out for the curb on the exit. For the wall on the exit. Into turn 5, hard braking zone. A little U-turn. A lot of debris here in turn 5 as well. We've got the slowest corner on the F1 calendar being turn 6. Into turn 7 he goes, hard braking zone. To the right, trying to clip as much curb on the inside. Into turn 8. Watch out for the wall on the exit as well. A lot of ERS can be drained here down the straight as well. A lot of corners here around Monaco where you can save the battery. Into turn 9, 10, and 11. It's that chicane, that well-famous chicane, where a lot of guys tend to crash in. Into turn 12, hard, fast left-hander into that chicane. Another chicane coming right up. Guys, oh, and he clips the wall again on the exit. He did it last time as well. Coming into the last corner, turn 18, turn 19. What will Hammersuk be doing? It's not going to be pole time, I'm afraid. but it will be an improvement on his very own time of 110.8, putting himself in P10 right now with a 7/10 improvement on his previous time. Doesn't have too much ERS left in the tank, so does that mean he's going to go for another one? I don't think so. He's pushing, though. He seems to be pushing 9 more minutes in this qualifying session. Getting around this track as soon as possible is crucial for the guys to maybe put another lap on track if they can get back in the pits in time. Paper Plane currently in the pit lane. What is his time going to be? Maggot coming across the line once again with a 19.1. Paper Plane has left the session again. Apparently, he's been kicked, but the Alpine driver currently putting himself on pole position. We don't have Benji Buno. Benji Buno, is that his name? I think it is, isn't it? Oh, no, Benny Buno. We don't have Benny Buno in the lobby today, or is that Paper Plane? I couldn't tell you for sure. But I know that Benny Buno has been a championship leader for quite some time. I wasn't there last week, so hopefully you guys missed me. But I'm going to take the Drivers' Championship with me real quick so we can have an analysis. And this is a beautiful time from Gunnar, 110.000. That kind of gives me some satisfaction there. But he's up on a fast one right now, and I think he's even going to break that time. Entering Sector 3, we're going to have an analysis on whether he is up on his time or not. He's up on his time by 53 thousandths of a second. Now let's see what he can do here in Sector 3. How much time will he gain or lose? Right at the last corner he goes. Oh, sliding coming into turn 19. Is it going to be an improvement? Is it going to be a pole time? It's not going to be a pole time, and neither is it going to be an improvement. 63 thousandths of a second down on his time. That means he lost about a 10 in that last sector, and that is not great news for Gunnar. Elliott currently on a fast one as well, as I'm just taking the F1 standings with me real quick. So last week we had Abu Dhabi, and it's quite of a bummer that I missed that one. Benny Buno actually got 14th place in Abu Dhabi, so he lost a decent amount of points, with Gunnar getting first place. Congratulations to you, Gunnar. We have the other Mercedes driver getting P8. We've got Nexton, who was there as well last week in Abu Dhabi. He hasn't done too many races this season. He's attended about 5, where he got 1 DNF. This is currently the 8th Grand Prix, so he's not there either. But he's still in a decent position, P5 so far. Zeroval hasn't been there last week, neither has he been this week. Let me just double check here, because Maggot hasn't been there last week, so a decent amount of points lost for the Alpine driver, but hopefully he can get a decent amount of points today here around Monaco. Who else was there? We've got Elliott gaining a decent amount of points. Who got P2 and P3? So Hayward, apparently, no, it's not Hayward. Nexton got P2. And then, of course, we've got Miyagi, who got a podium last week. So congratulations to you, Miyagi. If I'm not mistaken, that was your third place this season. So he's been there's been some ups and downs there for the Greek driver. He got a P3 in Austria, a P9 in Imola, a P3 in America, a P18 in Belgium, and then a P3 in Abu Dhabi. So if we follow the trend this week, he shouldn't be scoring a podium. But let's see whether he can say something about that, of course. Paper Plane still in the lobby, apparently, as we might want to go on board with Skipper here on an outlap. What will the Haas driver be doing? As I'm just going to take the time to look at the stream, because I did some new audio settings, so hopefully you guys are happy with that. Let me just double check on whether those are good enough. Skipper is going to start his qualifying lap right now. Coming around the last corner goes the Haas driver. What will the Dutch driver be doing, as he's located in the Netherlands? Around the first corner, a little bit overshot there. I think he could have taken a little more curb down the inside. Using a bit of ERS into this sweeping straight. A little snip there coming out of turn 3. Beautiful corner into turn 4. To turn 5 he goes. A little lockup on the rears, and that makes him shot through. This is not good news for the Dutch driver. Kenji putting himself on the podium here in this qualifying session. Who will be able to compete with the Haas, the Mercedes, and the Alpine. Maybe Gunnar could, although he's still in the pit lane. Joe Hayward currently in P5, not too far behind either. And we've got a big battle for P6, 7, and 8 between Hackett, Magic Boot Cannon, and Reliot. And Skipper apparently has invalidated this time, so he won't be able to continue that qualifying lap. Hammersuk just come across the line with a 7/10 improvement, putting himself in P6, right behind Joe Hayward. And let's see what the Mercedes driver can do. Invalidated this lap, but I think he had a lot of ERS saved as well, so he's going to go for another one. And that indeed is going to be the case. A little swerve there coming out of the last corner. Down the straight he goes. DRS wide open for Joe. And let the qualification round begin for the Mercedes driver. Down the straight he goes into turn 2, into turn 3, which is going to be that long left-hander. Watch out for the snap into turn 4. Oh, that's really close. Almost lost the car. He's got the fastest first sector already. 1/10 of an improvement on his very own time. So does that mean sector 2 and sector 3 is the place where he needs to gain some more time as well compared to the competition on track ahead of him? Into the tunnel section we go, and you can hear the echo roaring in that tunnel. Into the chicane, a little lockup. We saw that from Skipper as well earlier on. Here comes Joe into turn 12. Fast left-hander. Watch out for the ball in the exit. Had a little snap there. Up in his time. 2.610 so far. Will this be pole time? And he's pushing. He's pushing. He's attacking the curbs. And you can see him coming into turn 17 with great speed. Coming out of the last corner, might have lost a bit of time. Here comes Joe Hayward. Will it be a P3 for the Mercedes driver? Lost a bit of time in sector 3, and it won't be an improvement on the positions, but it will be an improvement on his very own qualifying time. The guys ahead of him apparently had a little lockup. That was Maggot, I'm afraid. Getting a little tow from his teammate. His teammate obviously being Stewart. With a very disappointing qualifying position at the moment. P10 for the Aston Martin, the Alpine driver. And usually we tend to see a bit of better time. And this is going to be a lot of frustrations for Maggot, the Williams driver, located in a very difficult position as well. And he'll have to go for another one. Can he get back across the line in time? I would say so. He has about 45 more seconds left in this qualifying session. He's going to let through a couple of guys. The Mercedes driver behind him is most likely not on a fast lap, as somebody is causing yellow flags in sector 3. Here comes Maggot. Around the last corner he goes. Will it be pole time for Gunnar, or will it be pole time for Maggot? Maggot is going to start his qualifying lap right now. 20 more seconds in this qualifying session. So it's going to be his last qualifying lap. Into turn 1 he goes. Look at that corner from Maggot. Absolutely beautiful. Around the last corner. Oh, around the last corner. Around turn 3 he goes. And he's carrying a lot of speed. Not up in his time though. 69 thousandths of a second. And I think the battle will be between Maggot and Gunnar. They are the only ones in the top 6 still on a fast lap. Gunnar is ahead. No, Gunnar is ahead. He just came across the line and did not improve. So we can almost tell with certainty that Maggot is going to be our pole sitter for tonight. The only one who's still going to be able to compete with the Alpine driver is maybe his very own teammate or Reliot. Magic Boot Cannon coming into the pits. Oh, and there goes Maggot. Into the wall he goes, but he has pole time anyway. Or is Elliott going to do anything about that? I think he... Ooh, he's carrying too much speed. Used a lot of ERS coming into that last corner. Has a little snap. This is not going to be a pole time, I'm afraid. Or is it? No, it is not. Lost a bit of time there in the last sector. So pole goes to Maggot with a 109.182. Gunnar not too far behind. We do have to mention that he's 0.04 of a second behind. And I feel like it's going to be a very close race between Elliott and Maggot. And a big part could come from the strategy as well. Miyagi retired from the session. And here we've got the Monaco qualification. Probably the most important thing about the Monaco Grand Prix, the qualification, because you've got that specific place you want to be in. Starting this Grand Prix, you definitely don't want to be in the middle of the pack, because you're going to get crashed out. But Maggot takes pole time, Gunnar in P2, and Brandon in P3. Further, we've got Genji, Joe, Hammersuk, Stewart, Elliott, Hackett, and Magic Poop Cannon in the top 10. And we've got Barry, Miyagi, Skipper, and Paper Plane. I don't think Paper Plane is in the lobby anymore, though. I'm unsure who he is. So that mystery still has to be revealed. But that might be for later this day. By the way, I have eaten so many fries with a lot of salt on it. So my mouth is really dry, so I'm going to take a lot of breaks to drink, because otherwise it's going to be chaos in my throat. So I hope you guys are alright with that. I always eat fries on Wednesday, so it's always going to be the same issue. I'm now going to blow my nose, and we will be right back for the formation lap. And we are back at it again here in Monaco in the Delta T Racing League. We're going to enable the lap data, and then we're going to have a look at the tires as well. A lot of different strategies here on track. Maggot apparently is going to start on the medium tires. Gunnar on the hard tires. We've got Brandon on the medium tires as well. So we're looking at a position change between Gunnar and Brandon as well. Maybe even Brandon can grab the lead of the race in turn 1 already if he has a good start, because he will be in the slipstream of his very good Alpine friend. Kenji, Joe, and Hammersuk starting on the hard tires. We've got Stewart on the mediums, and then we've got Elliott on the hard tires. Hagen, Magic Poop Cannon, and Barry starting on the mediums. And then at the back of the grid, we've got Miyagi, Skipper, and Paper Plane on the hard tires. This is a very mixed grid with a lot of different strategies. So let's see how this all is going to play out. We're looking at a position change from Stewart, probably getting past Hammersuk and maybe even Joe. And we're looking at a big position drop from Elliott as he's got a lot of guys behind him on the medium tires. You can see everyone parking their yachts here in Monaco in the hope to catch a glimpse of this Monaco Grand Prix. And I once want to be at the Monaco Grand Prix. I feel like it is going to be a great experience, but you never know. Let's have a look here at the position changes. Everyone is parked on the grid. And we are ready to go here for the Monaco Grand Prix. All cars are lined up for Season 11, Round 8 of the Monaco Grand Prix in Delta T Racing. It is Division 1, and the 5 red lights are off, and away we go! Magic Boop Canning starting from pole position. We're already looking at the position switch between Stewart and Hammershoek. Also, Joe Hayward gained the position. Elliott and Hackett right now battling side by side. Who's going to come out ahead? Seems like it is going to be the Kick-Sauber down the inside. Beautiful overtake there from Elliott. Actually kept that position because he was getting overtaken from behind by Hackett. At the back of the grid, we're looking at some position changes as well. Stewart down the inside makes a beautiful move on the Haas driver, although Mr. Kenji still has the inside line in the slowest corner on track and keeps the position. Forces Stewart a little bit wider into that corner, and he keeps the position. Beautifully done by Kenji. Not only lost one position, it could have been two, but he just kept the nerves under control. Let's have a look here with Hackett as he's getting attacked from behind by the American. A little lockup by Skipper as well. And I'm unsure whether paper plate is in the car or not. Is that Benny Buno? I couldn't tell you for sure. Or is that an AI? And then it would be quite shameful for Skipper to get overtaken by an AI. But it is what it is. You know, sometimes you cannot be as fast as you want to be. Maggot coming across the line with a 1:16.6 so far. The fastest lap on track. So I want to go on board with Hackett on the tail of the Kick-Sauber driver so far. Coming into turn 2, coming into turn 3, and is he going to be able to get this position done as soon as possible? Let's look at the tires. Stewart really on the tail of Kenji, and we said that Stewart was going to gain a couple of positions, and he did on Hammershoek. Mainly because Hammershoek is on the hard tires. Elliott actually didn't lose a position, so that is lovely to see for the Kick-Sauber driver. He's looking to lose one though on Hackett, as Hackett had a little snap there, getting chased from behind by Magic Poop Cannon as well. The top two is running away, but Gunnar barely hanging on. 6:10 so far as he's on the hard tires, so he's actually doing a good job so far. Has a little more race pace than Maggot. Regarding the slower tires, I think it's going to be an advantage later throughout the race because he's going to be on the mediums to finish off this Grand Prix. And hopefully is going to gain a position on Maggot and win this Monaco Grand Prix. Gunnar coming across the line. Brandon coming across the line with a 1:12.1. But we can see that Gunnar is actually faster than Maggot. So does that mean the hard tires are better than the mediums? I wouldn't be able to tell you for sure, as Stewart is on the tail of the Haas driver so far. No positions gained for Kenji, as he didn't really have the race start he hoped to have. He lost the position to Joe. And right now getting chased from behind by the famous Alpine driver Stewart. Oh, almost going into the wall. Had a little, I'm not going to say snap, but went a little deep into that corner. Carried too much speed going into turn 6, and that is going to be the result of that carry through speed. Barry Bogarovsky in P12 as well. He started on the medium tires, and he's on the tail of Miyagi. And I think we can now say for sure that Miyagi is going to keep the streak going with a non-podium today, as he started in P12, P11. On the hard tires though, but he's getting chased from behind by Barry Bogarovsky, who's about a second and a half behind. He's on the faster tires though. Brandon just hanging on tight there. About 1 second behind Gunnar, but he's not going to be able to benefit from the DRS. And I'm really happy that we don't see any rain here in Monaco. And I'm always wondering, the guys are swerving coming out of turn 4 for a hole in the track, but does that really affect your car that much? Coming out of turn 8, everyone seems to be very close behind each other. Into the pool section, I think this is, or is this casino? I think the casino is coming up right now. Turn 12. All the yields on the top of your screen. And Stewart is the first one to DNF. What happened to the Alpine driver? Is he parked in the wall? I think he is. Went into the corner with too much speed. That's going to be our first DNF, but no safety car so far. And that is going to be a disaster for the Alpine team. They've been doing so well for the constructors, but we might want to have a look at the constructors battle anyway to see what is going wrong with the team. Alpine currently in P4. They might be losing some positions here as well tonight, although Red Bull and Ferrari are both not present here tonight in Monaco, so I don't think they need to be scared that much. Mercedes still holding up strong. They've got 163 points. Right behind Mercedes, and that's not with a big gap, is Sauber with 159 points, so only 4 points difference between the both of them. And then we've got McLaren with 129 points, followed up closely behind. And I don't think, as it is a 12 race calendar, isn't it? It is a 12 race calendar indeed, that everything has been decided yet. For example, Benny Buno isn't here tonight. Maggot is going to gain a lot of time. Mr. Khan in the chat says, unsure if Paper Plane is in the lobby, but apparently is Honey Badger. So let's have a quick look with Paper Plane, and I think he is on a fast one. I think he is in the lobby. Stewart has left the session as well, and I think Paper Plane is indeed in the lobby, because otherwise his car would have been ghosted. So Paper Plane, apparently Honey Badger, we didn't know that, but we do know now. And we would have thought that this was Benny Buno with a different name, but apparently it is not. It is another driver, Honey Badger, who is going to be battling with a skipper for P12 tonight. They've got a big gap to the guys ahead of them. That's Barry Bogarovsky and Miyagi. But you never know. A safety car could change everything for these guys on track tonight. So you might want to go on board with Gunnar and Maggot again. And coming into this Grand Prix, I knew it was going to be rather a boring race, because nobody's really close behind each other. And there's not many overtaking opportunities as well here in Monaco. So unsure whether we're going to be seeing any overtakes at all in the next couple of laps. But Brandon definitely is gaining some time, and that means we've got a 3 or even a 4-way battle for the lead of the race, because Joe Hayward is trying to push closer as well. Relia trying to get past Heimersuk as well, so we might want to switch back to the position switches. Almost everyone has gained a position or stayed the same. The only driver who lost the position was Genji. And then, of course, Stewart, but he crashed into the wall in coming out of turn 9. So rest in peace, Stewart. Next race will be better. But we knew that there was going to be some DNFs here tonight in Monaco. Gunnar going into the chicane. Really close on the tail of Maggot. And it seems like a really good race for Gunnar so far. I am very well known for my commentator curses, so it could be that we are going to see him going into the wall. But so far, so good for the Kick Sauber driver. Well, we'll go on board with Elliott here, currently in P7. Gained the position so far, and he's on the medium tires. No, he's on the hard tires, so that is going to be good news for the Kick Sauber driver. But Heimersuk is definitely not a driver you can easily pass. He's got a lot of experience in the back. But let's see if he can put that experience to practice in the Monaco Grand Prix. A lot of guys not necessarily crashing into the wall, and we love to see that as a commentator. As you don't want too many safety cars here in a Grand Prix like Monaco. What I do feel is that every now and then a race around Monaco could feel very slow. There's not much action. There's not many things happening. The top 5 right now really close to each other, so it will be a battle between the top 5, but there's different strategies going on, and we might need to mention that once again. Brandon and Maggot being in bad papers, as both of them are on medium tires, the rest of the guys on hard tires, so it would be ideal if the guys were on are tired as well. My apologies, guys. I'm really tired. I haven't slept well in the last couple of days because I had a pitch for my graduation project today. So I was practicing last night. I had to wake up early, practice again, and you know it brings a lot of stress with it as well. So both Mercedes drivers seem to have a little scramble here in Sector 1, heading into Sector 2 right now. Will Joe try to have a go at his very own teammate Kenji, getting hauled up there by Joe Hayward into the slowest corner of the F1 calendar. And I feel like a new track should be released. I feel like the tracks that we have right now are not necessarily boring, but I feel like there is a lot of tracks that shouldn't be there. For example, I mean, I was going to say Las Vegas, but then on the other hand, it was a good Grand Prix this year. Which Grand Prix wasn't necessarily that well? Maybe Australia? Maybe one in the Middle Eastern. I don't know. But I feel like a track like Hanoi, which was supposed to be a Grand Prix, could bring a lot of excitement to F1 fans. It would definitely be bringing excitement to me. As Magic Poop Cannon is the first driver to come into the pit lane, he's going to switch over to the hard tires. He had the feeling he either couldn't keep going on those medium tires, or he went into the wall. That could be the case as well. Switching a front wing. Under the tunnel we go. Joe, Brandon, Gunnar, and Maggot. Although Maggot now dropping out of that 1 second. And that is good news for the Alpine drivers. He's not getting chased behind anymore. But although both Mercedes drivers are not done with each other yet, Kenji is trying to mingle himself into this little battle. Hammersuck and Skipper, the only drivers who so far have a penalty. And penalties could come into play as well for the top 5. As the drivers really need to keep their cars within the track limits. Track warnings could be, let's say, crucial. It's going to be a pain in the ass as well. We do know that a lot of guys have track warnings already. And it's going to be... apologies, lads. I'm really tired. I could jump into my bed right now. This is how tired I am. And nothing is happening. It's a boring race as well. 39 laps is an insane amount of laps. And you know what's funny? When there is nothing happening, it is easier to catch. Well, it should be easier to catch a battle because there is so few. But that is not the case because you never know there is a battle after, well, before the battle is going on. So you can't necessarily switch over to the right people. But everyone is keeping it behind each other, trying to smooth it out with the other drivers and trying to think of the right strategy. Medium hards, hards mediums. Maybe they could go medium soft. You never know. And we cannot dive into the tire degradation either because we don't have that sort of information from the drivers. I used to have an app that could track all of this. Although that app didn't work on my laptop, unfortunately, it gave all kinds of errors. So quite unfortunate because I had some cool overlays as well, but I had to cancel all of that. Heading into the yacht part of the track. A lot of possibilities to sit here in the Monaco Grand Prix, and that's quite surprising as I thought that nobody actually was watching this Grand Prix from the sidelines, except for example, people on hills, for example, or in their apartments. Here comes Joe Hayward. Is he going to have a go at his very own teammate? Doesn't look like it. And I'm unsure whether they're working together or having a battle with each other. In case they would be working together with each other, I feel like it is not working in their advantage. Currently 2 seconds behind Gunnar and Maggot, although both drivers are going to have a battle with each other. And we're past the third of this Grand Prix. Still 26 more laps to go. Feels like an eternity. Gunnar not necessarily finding any way to get around Maggot. Because I feel like the Alpine driver is a little faster in Sector 3. They're gaining a bit of time on Gunnar. Big lockup from the guys as well. Is that going to play a part into the tire degradation rate from both Gunnar and Maggot? Although we can say for sure that at this stage of the race, Gunnar most likely has the advantage. The tires are fresher, the tires are better compared to Maggot's tires. And there is a crash. There has been a crash, and that's going to be Magic Poop Cannon together. No, it's not going to be Magic Poop Cannon. It is Miyake together with Hackett. Hackett coming into the pits to go onto the hard tires. Most likely to finish off this Grand Prix on those tires, but we cannot tell you that for sure. Let's see whether Miyake has front wing damage. Ooh, yeah, he does. The front plate is missing from the left side. It's, we're looking at a position switch there between Hackett, Barry, and Magic Poop Cannon. Did we see a crash? We did indeed see a crash between Barry and Magic Poop Cannon. Oh, Barry is trying to park his car in the right way. Oh, Skipper can get past right now. Does he need an invite back? I might want to ask Skipper. Oh, there goes my my controller, and I'm gonna DM Skipper real quick, asking if he wants an invite back. You guys cannot see the this is, I cannot pick up my controller for some reason. What is it? There we go. We are back at it again, guys, for this Monaco Grand Prix, and we are looking at a big battle between Joe and Brandon. Let's go on board with the both of them. Kenji now getting back into the slipstream and the DRS. Let me just send a message to Mr. Skipper. Oh, the guys in the middle of the field are having a battle as well. That's going to be Magic Poop Cannon and Barry. Although Barry coming into the pits, he's going to switch his front blade, most likely front wing. Let's have a look here with the Williams driver. And he does indeed have front wing damage, but he might have had rear wing damage as well. Brandon coming into the pits. Lap 14 seems to be the right lap to come into the pits. For some reason, my controller is giving me the feeling like I am the one replacing the front wing. As it is trilling. Is that a word? Beeping? No, it's not really beeping. It's like Skipper with a 3-second time penalty. I feel like he got back on the track. He managed to get back into the lobby. Hackett in P8. Got past the Greek driver so far. He went onto the medium tires. But I doubt that he's going to be able to finish the Grand Prix on those tires. Genji on the tail of Hayward. And this is most likely the battle we want to see going into lap 17. Maggot most likely will come into the pits this lap or next one. He's getting pressured from behind, and Gunnar is getting closer and closer. Is he coming into the pits? Doesn't look like it. Gunnar now has the DRS. He's really close up the ass of Maggot, but not close enough, I'm afraid. DRS was not enough to gain time down the straight, and you really need a good exit coming out of the last corner to be able to make an overtake. Oh, is he going to go for it here? Is he going to go for it here? No, backs out of it. Went a little deep into turn 3. I feel like he overshot the corner. Into turn 5 they go. A little lockup from the rears of Maggot. As I'm going to have to switch. I'm going to have to take off my headset real quick because my ears are hurting really bad because I got my cap on. Gunnar doesn't seem to be giving up so far. But it's going to be a challenge getting past the Irish driver here tonight. As we said before, there's not much going on in this Monaco Grand Prix. But maybe here, Gunnar, is he going to go around the outside? Maybe a switchback. Oh, the Alpine driver is coming into the pits. And that means we've got even less action on track, as I'm going to take off my cap real quick. I'll be right back, guys. There we go. We are back at it again here in Monaco. As we're going to have to keep our eyes close on Ralliot and Hammerstook, as both drivers are really close to each other. Gunnar is currently in first place. He hasn't come into the pits yet. 17 laps on the hard tires. Skipper getting a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting as well. Does that mean he's going to retire in the pit lane? Oh, and he's getting another 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and most likely that it means a DNF, a retirement in the pit lane from the Dutch driver. And let's go on board here with Ralliot, as he's really trying to hold up strong, but it seems to be getting harder and harder, battling Hammerstook. Hammerstook, who's already got a penalty, that is going to play into the advantage of Ralliot. He just needs to be within 3 seconds of the McLaren driver, and then he can get a P4 or a P5, because Maggot is still ahead, and so is Brandon. So Brandon now with the fastest lap as well, at 1:11. As he came into the pits onto 3-lap-old hard tires. Onto hard tires about 3 laps ago, and he's made the overtake on the Alpine driver. And that is really crucial there from the Mercedes driver. Managed to stay ahead of Maggot. And a good strategy from Brandon. And that is really something crucial here around this Monaco Grand Prix. You're going to have to carry those hard tires until the end of the race, because otherwise you're not going to be playing into their advantage anymore in the later stage of this Grand Prix. Let's go on board with Joe Hayward, and we've got another DNF. Skipper retired from the session in the wall as well. That's going to be our first virtual safety car. Is the actual safety car going to come out on track? Doesn't look like it. There's no yellow dot on the right corner of your screen. So it's only going to be a virtual safety car. The guys that are coming into the pits right now are going to have the advantage of going onto another set of tires. Hammerstook and Ralliot are both going onto the medium tires, and where are they going to end up in? Hammerstook is going to be right behind Maggot, and Ralliot is going to be right behind Hammerstook. So did they gain a few positions with that decision? Unsure, because their medium tires will be bad at the end of their Grand Prix, and I'm unsure what Hammerstook is doing right now. Let's go on board with Kenji on the tail of Joe Hayward. And this will be a 3-way battle for the lead of the race. It also matters because you want to have the track position. You want to see, you want to set the pace, and you want to decide when you are coming into the pits, not the other way around. But apparently Kenji is thinking otherwise. He's the first one to come into the pits. And now the other two will have to act. I don't think the guys will be able to stretch their mediums until the end of the race. When they come into the pits right now, apparently Kenji does. So does Hammersook and Reliot. So let's see how this is going to play into their advantage. But Brandon so far in really good papers. And what happened to Maggot? He's going to be behind Kenji, and this is no good news. Kenji being on fresh medium tires. He will gain time on Maggot. But let's see how much time Maggot is going to gain at the end of the Grand Prix. Miyagi on the tail of Reliot as well. Let's see what the Greek driver can do. Down the inside, no backside of it. And I feel like it used to be easier to make a move into turn 3 back on F1 22-23 than it is on F1 24 right now. There's a yellow flag in sector 2. The Williams driver has crashed. That's Hackett. Did he lose a front wing? I wouldn't be able to tell you for sure. I don't think he did. I'm not seeing any visible damage going into turn 14. Joe Hayward on the tail of Gunnar once again. Kenji, who is ahead of Maggot, but also Brandon with a big gap on both Kenji and Maggot. And I think that Maggot is even losing time to Brandon. He was about 4 seconds behind the Mercedes driver earlier. Right now he's about 8 seconds behind, so that is not good business for the Alpine driver so far. But as I said, a really boring Grand Prix, and I'm not gonna say I don't understand why there is Monaco on the Grand Prix, because I do. It's a track that's not easily getting put onto a calendar, but it usually could deliver some exciting races, but this Grand Prix is just not it. Oh, and Joe Hayward coming into the pits. Oh, and a 10-second time penalty for Miyagi as well after a severe collision with Bogarovsky. And that might have happened when Bogarovsky was lapped. So I'm unsure why Miyagi get a 10-second time penalty for that, but he already came into the pits, so he shouldn't be worried about that. If it weren't his fault, he can just get it removed. And usually drivers who redeem their 10-second time penalty in the pit lane cannot remove their penalty. Although I don't think Miyagi has to come into the pits anymore. He's currently on 6-lap old medium tires, and he's hopefully going to finish the Grand Prix on those tires. So I'm going to have to take another sip of water as my throat is killing me right now. Maggot is losing a lot of time to Kenji as well, and Brandon is just extending his lead. And how is Gunnar going to play into this little game? Another driver coming into the pits. That was the Aston Martin of Miyagi. And Joe Hayward now the third driver on track with a penalty. Well, not anymore. He's the second driver on track with a penalty, as Skipper has DNF'd from this Grand Prix. Meaning his penalties won't count, because he's not going to score any position anyway. Let me just double check with the microphone quality one more time. Seems to be decent. Lovely. Do I have any other message from DTR? Don't think so. And everyone right now out of 1 second of each other. The only one who could gain a bit of time is Joe Hayward, who just came out of the pits. 1.5, 1.4 seconds behind Hammersook. Both drivers do have a penalty though, so this could be an exciting battle for P5. A decent amount of points for the guys in the Drivers' Championship. As we're quickly going to have a look at the the standings of this Grand Prix. I mean, not necessarily this Grand Prix, but just the Drivers' Championship, of course. Benny Buno currently still leading the Drivers' Championship. Brandon in P2, and I'm just quickly going to have a look what the difference is in points. There's 11 points of difference. So Brandon, if he grabs a top 3 position tonight, he could crown himself, well, even if he gets a top 4 position, he could crown himself the new Drivers' Championship leader with 1, 4, 7, or 14 points. So let's see whether that is going to happen. First of all, he needs to finish this Grand Prix. There's 14 more laps to go, so still a lot of pressure on the shoulders of the Mercedes driver. But this is the Grand Prix where he wants to gain as much time as possible. Let me just double check who were the jokers for tonight, and I can see that in the attendance. Apparently there were no jokers for tonight, and I'm unsure whether they could even get a joker for tonight. Let me just double check here with the attendance. Does it say that you cannot get a joker on? Apparently not. That is something I'm quite surprised about. Yes, you cannot gain too many positions, but I mean, isn't it a chaotic race? Here comes Joe with a good exit coming out of turn 1. He's on the tail of Hammersuk. What will Joe be doing? Ah, man, he's not giving up though, but he just can't find a way around the McLaren driver. Coming out of turn 4, it was really close between the both of them. Joe almost went into the back of the McLaren driver, but quickly recovered from his too much speed. Miyagi now into the wall, and that's going to be another virtual safety car. And apparently here in Monaco, it's a glitch as well, where you will never get a full safety car. So that doesn't give me the opportunity to go to the toilet, I'm afraid, because I gotta pee real bad. Gunnar, Joe Hayward, and Hammersuk are currently battling for P4. Although Gunnar is in a better position though, because he doesn't have a penalty so far. Gonna put the positions switches real quick. Brandon has gained 2 positions so far, so did Kenji. And we've got Maggot losing 2 positions with a worse strategy than the other 2. Hammersuk gaining 2 positions so far. Joe still in the same position. Gunnar losing 4 positions. He's just gone into the pits. Wasn't that his second pit stop already? I think it was. Apparently it wasn't. It was his first pit stop, and that quite surprises me. No, it's his second. The game still had to load in. So position changes wise, we're looking at Gunnar losing 6 positions. He had a great qualifying starting position, starting at P2, but he dropped back to P8. Unsure what happened to the Kickstarter driver. Did he have a crash with anyone? I wouldn't be able to tell you. 12 more laps to go in this Monaco Grand Prix. It's one of the most boring races I've ever seen. This is not the fault of the owners or the drivers at all. It's just, you know, how things are happening in Monaco, I guess. Nobody is able to make an overtake in each other. And that is also a good thing, because that means that the guys are recognizing the dangers of this track, and they know they shouldn't be making any reckless decisions. And I always love it when guys are cleaner than the actual Formula 1 guys, for example. I mean, if we had an actual Monaco Grand Prix, I feel like anyone could have crashed into anyone. But here in Delta T Racing, everyone is keeping it respectful, keeping it within the lines of racing. They're not going beyond. They're not trying to exceed those limits of cleanless driving. No, cleanless, that doesn't even make sense. Exceeding the limits of clean driving or dirty driving, how you want to, whatever perspective you like most. But these two are definitely going to be playing a part in probably the biggest action here on track tonight. Joe Hayward, who did clip the wall coming out of turn 13 or turn 12. And that is something the guys really have to watch out for. Not coming into the corners with a lot of speed. Because here as well, in turn 1, if you carry too much speed, if you touch the curb on the inside, you're easily going to lose the car. And I feel like Maggot is really struggling right now. He's losing a lot of time to Brandon and Kenji. He's losing a bit of time to Hammer and Joe, who are still battling with each other. Gunnar now with the fastest lap of 1:11.1. And it's looking like this is going to be a chance for Joe. But he had a bad exit coming out of turn 9, turn 8. A little lockup from the front right tire of Hammersook. But that doesn't put Joe in a favorable position. It's Monaco, guys. It is what it is. These two are now losing a bit of time to Maggot as well. Oh, and Gunnar and Reliant, both Geek Sauber drivers now getting a 3-second time penalty. They're in a battle with each other. The air is wide open for Joe Hayward. Is this going to be an opportunity? Down the inside he goes. No, he's choosing the outside line. Brakes a little later. Almost going into the back of the McLaren driver. He really needs to watch out. Miyagi has left decision as well. A DNF for the Aston Martin. Elliott seems to have a little fewer pace compared to his teammate Gunnar. He was about 5/10 behind Gunnar, but then got that penalty and lost about 2 seconds on his very own teammate Kenji with a 3-second time penalty now as well. I don't think that should give him too much troubles, as obviously Maggot is about 7.5 seconds behind the Haas driver. There's another yellow flag, and that is going to be an Aston Martin. Magic Poop Cannon probably into the wall. Doesn't have any front wing damage though. Might have just lost the car as well. Is Joe Hayward gonna go for it? No, didn't have the speed, and didn't have too much speed to make that move into turn 1. Usually we do tend to see a lot of guys having some back and forward battles, although we cannot really call this this a battle. It's just Joe Hayward on the tail of Hammersook trying to hold it together, trying to hold it on track, and we're gonna have to see at the penalties as well. Hammersook has got 6, Joe has got 6 now as well, as he just received 1. He should have just kept it within the lines, and he was going to grab P4. Now I'm afraid he's even going to get overtaken by Hackett, who doesn't have any single penalties here tonight. And Hammersook has got 6 seconds as well, so he's going to have to make that overtake. Down the straight he goes. The ear is wide open. Ear is wide open. Is he going to go for a move down the inside? Backside of it again. Oh, he's going to go for it. Down the inside he goes. Oh, late lunge. No, he's not going to go for it. It's too much risk going into turn 3. Hammersook now defending the inside line. Joe is really trying to find a way around Hammersook as soon as possible. A little lockup from Maggot as well. Oh, and Joe just clipped the wall. Do we see any visual damage? Doesn't seem like it. Oh yeah, look at the pace of Hackett. 4.3 seconds so far. He was about 6 seconds behind 2 laps ago. And this is going to be a good comeback race from Hackett, because if I'm not mistaken, he had an incident earlier with another driver, so that could give him a penalty as well. We don't know. But he's gained 3 positions so far. Good Grand Prix from Hackett. He's keeping it consistent. But then on the other hand, gaining a lot of time as well on the guys ahead of him. And he knows that he needs to be within 6 seconds of both Hammersook and Joe Hayward to grab that B4. And that's going to be a decent amount of points for Williams there. Considering Barry Bogarowski being all the way in P11. He's not going to score a decent amount of points. Even 0. And that is quite unfortunate for the Williams driver. None of these guys looking to make a move anytime soon. Brandon's still in the lead of the race, has about a 4.8 second gap on Kenji and a 15 second gap to Maggot. So I think we can crown our driver champion already. Our race winner already. Being Brandon, the Mercedes driver, in the lead of the race. And Kenji has got a penalty as well, so that's about a 7 second gap to the Mercedes driver so far. But the biggest battle we're going to be seeing today is this one, Hammersook and Joe Hayward. And we're just waiting for that one opportunity for the Mercedes driver to get past Hammersook, because it's not as easy as it seems. Paper Plane managed to get closer to Magic Poop Cannon as well, so we might want to switch back to those two for a different view of this Grand Prix. Paper Plane had a good exit coming out of turn 1. Is he going to make a move into turn 3? Doesn't look like it. Barry Bogarowski with a 10-second time penalty. Corner cutting. Does that mean he's going to come into the pits? Might be the case though. Oh, the Aston Martin guy going really slow, and I think that's slowing down Paper Plane as well. What are these two doing right now? Gunnar now has gained a lot of time on Hackett as well, as the gap seems to be shrinking between Hackett and Joe Hayward as well. But so does the gaps between other drivers as well. For example, Gunnar and Hackett, that gap has shrinking a little bit. Shrinking doesn't exist. Shrunk a little bit. Paper Plane and Magic Poop Cannon have caught up to each other. And the question is, who else is going to get a penalty? Let's say Brandon grabs another penalty in this in these next 4 laps. We might be seeing a Grand Prix win going to Kenji if he can gain some more time. Joe Hayward now, DRS wide open, ERS wide open, and he's gonna have to do something about this. Maybe save a lot of battery in order to make a move in coming out of the last corner and drain the whole battery from turn 19 to turn 1. That could be a solution for Joe Hayward, because right now he has about 20% saved. And I don't think that's going to be enough. He needs more. He's going to have to drain that battery all the way from from turn 19 to turn 1. And then on the other hand, use a lot of DRS as well. Elliott coming into the pits as well. The Kickstarter driver choosing another strategy. And let's have an analysis of the tires again, because we're looking at some different strategies here. Brandon on 20 lap old hard tires. Is he going to finish the race on those tires. Then we've got obviously Megadon 18 lap old hard tires. That's going to be an advantage going into this later stage of the race. Gunnar and Hackett right behind each other. Gunnar coming out of the last corner, draining a lot of ERS, draining some DRS. Is he going to have a go at it? Doesn't look like it. And you know what the important thing is as well in this battle? Gunnar has got a penalty, so he's not necessarily got anything to lose. While on the other hand, Hackett is looking at a top 4 position. So he's really got to keep it clean and keep it composed going into lap 38 and 39 of this Grand Prix. Oh, Gunnar almost took out the Williams driver there. Had to watch out with the brakes. Trying to attack the corner with a lot of speed, and trying to carry too much speed out of the corner as well is a difficult challenge for the Kick Sauber driver so far. You can see him carry too much speed going into the corner, brakes a little later, but it's also because of the dirty air. The dirty air is making it difficult for him to brake at the same spot in which he brakes when he doesn't have dirty air. Because the dirty air is basically slipstream, so going into the corner, you've got slipstream and it's going to make your car understeery and also make it harder on the brakes as well. You can see here Gunnar really struggling on these 11 lap old medium tires. Now, I wouldn't even say those tires are really bad. On the other hand, Joe and Hammersuk have been on older medium tires, Hammersuk being on 18 lap old medium tires. And I'm really surprised he's still racing on those tires. I mean, it's been a challenge for Hammersuk staying on these medium tires for so long, and he's even got the pace compared to a driver who's got fresher tires. Elliott now with the fastest lap of 110.7, and I think that might have been his the purpose of this pit entry, going onto the soft tires, trying to get the fastest lap on the board. That one extra point could do everything. Joe gets a 3-second time penalty again. And that means the battle for a top 5 position is over. Because he can even lose another position to Gunnar. And I think he could indeed. 9 seconds. He needs 6 seconds in between. And he doesn't have those 6 seconds. He's got about 4. Let's see what a paper plane can do in this last lap of the Grand Prix. Because we're going to have to go on board with Brandon, who's perfectly strategized this Grand Prix. Hats off to the Mercedes driver who came into the pits earlier to go into the hard tires and finish off the Grand Prix with an undercut. Absolute perfection from the Mercedes driver as he comes around the last corner. Let's hope it doesn't crash it into the wall right now. And he doesn't. Coming across the line goes the Mercedes driver to grab the race win for Delta T Racing. Then our question will be, who will put themselves into the top 3? Kenji and Megan are already sure of a podium position, and so is Brandon. So that means the top 3 has been decided. But what about the top 5, the top 6, maybe even the top 7? Gunnar on the tail of Hackett, and Hackett really pushed real close to Hammersuk and Joe Hayward. 2.7 seconds was the gap. Hackett back into P4, Hammersuk in P5, and then we've got Gunnar in P6. All the other guys have came across the line already, except for Elliott. He's got a 3-second time penalty, but won't gain a single position. Oh wait, he needs to push. He needs to push because he's going to lose a position to Paper Plane, I'm afraid. Let's have a quick look here. Or is that almost certainly going to be a 2-second gap? Let me have a quick look here. Oh, he doesn't have ERS left in the tank. Fuel, or does he? I don't know. What position did he end up in? It is going to be a P8 for Elliott. Congratulations to the Kick Sauber driver. He has the fastest lap, as well as Brandon gets driver of the day. And I couldn't agree more with that. He strategized this race to perfection, as I said before. And congratulations, Mr. Brandon, on the race win. The podium goes to Brandon, the Haas driver, Kenji, and the Alpine driver, Maggot. The rest of the grid is here as well, as that will be Hackett in P4, Hammerstuck in P5, Gunnar in P6, Joe Hayward in P7, followed by Reliot, Paperplane, Barry Bogarovsky, Magic Poop Cannon, and then we've got our DNS for tonight, Miyaki, Skipper, and Stewart. And the fastest lap goes to Reliot. So congratulations to everyone who has finished this Monaco Grand Prix. It's not an easy Grand Prix to finish, as there's a lot of walls, and it's a lot of tight battling as well. But I would like to thank everyone for watching this Grand Prix. It's been chaos in my head tonight, as I'm really tired. I'm gonna jump straight into bed because I could take a nap straight away. But yeah, my apologies for the poor commentary. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was one of my poorer commentary videos I've done in the last 2 years. I've done more than 300, 400 races, so it's just the tiredness that's kicking in right now. And I hope to catch you guys next week as well. My name is VP Thomas as a commentator, and thank you for listening. Bye bye.